All right, guys, it's 8:25. We're going to get started. We've got a really exciting call. So if you haven't already, make sure you get your coaches on this call. Make sure you're texting them, messaging them, getting them here. So first off, I wanted to start with the Success Club leaderboards. These are the top 10 coaches who have had the most number of lives changed thus far in the month. So obviously it's November 26th. There's still a couple more days, and definitely don't stop pushing to hit your goals until the very end, like 11:59 Eastern on November 30. Trust me, many of us have been there. It's stressful, but you got to do what you got to do to push your business forward. So without further ado, at the very top of the Success Club leaderboard, Success Club 54, is Katie Roser. Amazing. And by the way, guys, if you hear a familiar face, shout them out in the chat because it is a freaking honor to be here. After Katie, we have Success Club 46, which is Sammy Klonick. Success Club 44, Carly Lindor. Success Club 40, Amanda Heidenreich. Success Club 24, Leanna Swords. Success Club 22, Jamie Innes. Weird saying my own name. I should have said me. Success Club 20, we have Alex Police, Megan Kelly, and Morgan Elliott. You guys are amazing. Congrats to you all. So up next, we have our top recruiters. So these are the people who are adding the most number of coaches to their team. These numbers are honestly insane because all of these coaches are hitting at least diamond this month, if not almost 3 diamonds for the first person I'm about to shout out. So with 23 new coaches, Sammy Blahnik. What? Anyways, that's insane. 15 new coaches, Carly Lindor. 12 new coaches, Amanda Heidenreich. 9 new coaches, myself, Alex Police, and Taylor Ricker. And then also with 8 new coaches, we have Katie Roser, Leanna Swords, Alex Police, and Aaliyah Fisher. So congrats, you guys. You're freaking killing it. And I am so proud. So now, without another further ado, I get to announce our newest Diamond interns for the entire organization for December. So Steve and I have taken, I think, 2 months off from doing this. This is our legendary leadership. So we take on 6 coaches. It's typically about 3 coaches of our own that we choose and 3 coaches in the downline. Everybody must apply. So if you guys didn't see the post, make sure to look for it next time because pretty much everyone, almost every single person who's gone through our legendary leadership has hit diamond either in that month or later on or super close to it. So, something that there's just powerful about having 2 mentors, having a girl and a guy, and like Steve and I are pretty much just like all hands on to helping you push your business forward. So some things that we look to see that, say you applied this time and you didn't get chosen, because like I said, we only get to choose 6. Every time we do this, we have more and more people apply, which is amazing. And it takes a while to go through all the applications, but if you didn't get chosen for this one, we want you guys to apply again. We want you guys to push your business forward. And in that month or 2 months until our next one, we want to see your Success Club numbers increase. We want to see your recruitment increase. We want to see your numbers in the business increase. We want to see you increasing your business, not just with us, because as much as we can help you, we aren't your secret sauce. We aren't, we're not able to make you a diamond coach. We're just here to show you the way and really help you push that and really push you out of your comfort zone, to be honest, because it's a very intense mentorship. You have Steve and I's full attention and we go hard. So these 6 people, their applications were amazing. And like I said, it was very hard to choose this time because we had so many people on our list that were good, that were qualified. We also had 2 people who were actually overqualified that we had to message before this call. So typically if you have 7, 8 coaches, you already are basically a diamond. You can just do it yourself. So for us, we really look for the people who have between 4 and 6 active coaches. You must have at least 4. That's the bare minimum, because we want to see that you've at least gotten there by yourself without our help. And that also shows that you're serious about this. This is also not for someone who, no matter how many times I say it in the post, if you haven't hit Success Club, you should not be applying to this mentorship, because this is for the people who are head down, focused. They make that Success Club their priority. They have the 4 coaches or more. And these people, their Success Club numbers have increased almost every month, if not very consistent. So that's just my little spiel. So anyways, please help me congratulate these girls. Hopefully they're all on the call. And a couple of you I am not friends with on Facebook, so please send me a friend request after this call, and I will get you guys added to the group. So without further ado, number 1, Jessica DeBaja. Congrats, girl. Number 2, Sarah Francis. Congrats to you. And 3, Jenna Woosman. Those are all of me and Steve's coaches. Super excited for you guys. Now, the 3 in the downline, we have number 1, Caroline Casper. Congrats to you. Number 5, Ashley Wiss or Weiss. WYSS. Hopefully I'm saying this right. Congrats to you, girl. And then lastly, we have Michaela Gertis or Gerds. I don't know which one it is, but congrats to you, girl. Congrats to all 6 of you guys. Like I said, if we're not Facebook friends, please send me a friend request, and after this call, I'll get you guys added. But you guys are totally deserving of this, and me and Steve cannot wait to help mentor you guys. So I'm going to get into the team call because we've got an exciting one. So let me just get to her accolades for a second here. Okay, so tonight's team call, Victoria Phillips. She's actually not my diamond coach. She's Carly Lindors, who's my PS coach. So I am like basically Victoria's grandma. So I'm just really excited to learn from her tonight. I've heard a million good things from Carly, and she's killing it. She has not just hit Success Club for 7 months in a row. She hits Success Club 10 for 7 months in a row, which is insane. So she's obviously killing it. She's currently in 1-star diamond quals. So she's in that 6-week period, just freaking crushing it. So she's got a lot of good stuff to teach us. And I'm going to look for her on my screen just a second. Bear with me for a second. Okay. Yay. Hold on. Let me unmute. Oh, there we go. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to mute myself. It's all you, girl. You got the floor.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Victoria, but I go by Vic. Okay. So I've been a coach since March of this year. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself first, and then I'll get into what I'm going to say. I'm married. I've been married coming up on 3 years to my husband, Mitch. He is a lineman, so he works on power lines, and that basically means that he's out of town a lot of the time. So I'm at home with my 2 German short hairs, and they're right here and might be loud, and if I yell at them, it's because they're being annoying. So I take care of them, and then we have our house, so I'm taking care of that, and then I'm a full-time nurse in the neonatal ICU, and so I work 12-hour shifts 3 times a week with that. As far as Beachbody goes, I started doing Beachbody programs in October of 2016, and so it was like a year and a half before I ever signed up as a coach. We had just gotten married, and I moved to this house, which was like the complete opposite side of town and away from, I was doing like a bar studio classes and working out at the gym, and I just wasn't getting like any of the results that I had in my head like envisioned for myself. And I started seeing Carly on Instagram, which Carly and I went to WSU together, so college. She was my big in my sorority, or our sorority. And she had like come to my wedding, and we stayed like really close, but and I obviously would follow her on Instagram and see her stories and her working out. And I was like, oh, that looks cool. Like, might as well do that. But I did not sign up with her. I signed up by myself because I'm super stubborn, and I don't know, I was just being really rude. My other friend, Kaylee, was doing Beachbody at the same time, so I kind of used her as my accountability buddy. And then I would talk to Carly about it, but not really. I just would ask her about the programs, but just be that annoying person that asks you about the programs but doesn't sign up with you. So it wasn't until 80 Day Obsession launched that I like really committed fully to a workout program and the nutrition side of it. And so that was like this January. And so I had just gone from working night shift to day shift, and they were 12-hour shifts. And so fitting in an hour-long workout, I had to wake up like before 4 a.m., start my workout by 4 in order to be at work on time. And so that really started like instilling those habits of consistency. And then the same thing with pairing the nutrition with it, which Autumn didn't think about people that work 12-hour shifts, because she basically made it so that you couldn't eat after 4:30 p.m., which isn't possible. So I couldn't really use the time nutrition side of it. I had to kind of make up my own thing. But that was really where I learned that pairing exercise and nutrition is how you get to your goal. And people started noticing that. I would share like on my Instagram story, just pictures of me, my computer screen, and saying that I worked out early in the morning because I was proud of myself. But other than that, I had like coaching was not in my realm at all. I never really thought about it. Carly would say like, you should try coaching, but I didn't really know what coaching was or anything like that. And so I kind of ignored her. But I had friends asking me like in March about it. And there was one girl specifically texted me, or I don't know what she did, but she was like, hey, can you set me up with your programs that you're doing? And I was like, yeah, sure. I like went over to her house, showed her how to sign up for Beachbody. I wasn't even using the supplements or Shakeology or anything. I was using like BCAAs and some other protein, and I brought her samples of that and literally did everything that you would do as a coach, except for I wasn't a coach. I didn't get commission out of it and didn't set her up with anything other than like the program. And so I left her house and I was like, what am I doing? Like, I'm an idiot. So the next day at work, I had just gotten done doing cares for my babies, and I was charting on them, and I just thought to myself like, oh, I'll look up coaching for Beachbody and see what it's about. So I looked that up, and I texted Carly and I was like, hey, what's your coach ID? I'm signing up as a coach today. And so that's how I started coaching. It was probably her easiest coaching sign up. But that day is when I decided to do coaching. And so just kind of, I should probably explain how I'm going into this call. I'm basically just going to tell you my story of coaching, and you can take what you want from it. And I'll kind of tell you what I've learned along the way. So what I found just from going into signing up as a coach is to always like go with your gut and follow like what your body's telling you that you should be doing, and jump into what fears you when you have good intentions behind it. Like, all I wanted to do was to help people. And so going into coaching, like, I didn't feel like I should be doing anything other than that, because I loved helping people, and like getting that specific girl signed up for it. Like, I loved doing that. And obviously I'm a nurse, and that's just what I like to do. And so when you have good intentions about a certain thing, like, be fearless with that. So that was in March. And then all of April, like, I went home that night and I just posted like on my Instagram story. It was just like a text thing. And I said, hey, if you're interested in the workouts that I've been doing and whatever, I signed up as a coach, I can help you through those programs if that's something that you want. And so I had obviously my warm market and close friends that approached me about that. And so I just threw them all into the challenge tracker app, and I followed the challenge guide, whatever Autumn said about 80 Day Obsession, I put in there, whatever picture Autumn told us to put in there, and that's what I did. Or I don't think I did 80 day. I think I did 21 days or something like that. But I just like, I didn't ask Carly for any help on this. I just did it, and I had no idea what I was doing. I just like made it work. And then I think it was in May when, and I would send people emails like literally telling them every possible thing you could buy on Beachbody, and it was the dumbest thing that I've ever done. Like, I would tell them every single challenge pack, what came in it, what it was, and even say that there was like $99 to sign up for a year, which don't ever tell somebody that like the first thing, because then they're just going to do that. So that was kind of in April. And then in May, I think that's when To Be Mindset came out. But that's when I joined a group. That's when I joined a group with Carly and her coaches and did like the food freedom group thing. And that's kind of where I learned like, oh, this is how you should like run a challenge group. And this is like, you probably shouldn't follow the specific guides they're giving you, and instead like be unique and make up your own things. And then I started just getting to know those coaches, and she talked about like Emerald and all of that. And I was like, oh, and we did like a new coach call and stuff. And so then I was like, okay, I should probably be Emerald if I'm going to do anything with this. And so kind of what I learned like in May was just to like go all in with everything, and like there's a lot that you can figure out on your own without having to like go to your coach about it. So just making sure that like if this is something that you want to do, just go all in, learn as you go. And that's the whole thing about coaching, is failing forward and everything that everyone has probably already told you. So in May, I signed up Mitch on my weak leg, and I got like Recover and Energize and all that on him. And then I signed up my mom, which I had made her do Beachbody before I was ever a coach. So she had done like everything with me, and I just had to talk her into signing up as a coach to help me out. So I signed her up on my my strong leg. And so I was Emerald in May. And then after that, I was like, oh, Emerald isn't that difficult. It was literally a decision that I made, and now I'm Emerald, and this really isn't that big of a deal. So I should probably be Diamond. And I realized that I'm like very competitive with myself at that point. And so I wanted to get to Diamond like faster than everybody else did, and faster than I thought I could. And that was the time I think that Casey started talking about like the VIP membership things. And I never actually did that, but I took, from what she said, I took like, you should sign everybody up as a discount coach. And so that's what I did. I led with being a discount coach. I didn't mention anything that there was like any other option besides being a discount coach to do my groups. And obviously, like if someone really couldn't do that, then I would mention the $99 a month just to like have them, or $99 a year just to have them like a part of my team and under me. But yeah, so I started doing that to build myself to Diamond. And obviously I had family on both sides, so that really helped me get to Diamond. And by June I was Diamond, so that was like within a month. And it's really nice if you can get family on each side, because you have control over your Diamond, and it's not something that really is not stressful. And so once I was Diamond, I was like, okay, well now what? Like, thinking about getting to 1 star was stressing me out. It kind of set in that like I was doing this part-time, and I was putting like so much energy into it that I wasn't really giving myself time for like friends and family. And I just felt like all over the place, and I wasn't organized. I'm pretty sure I like reached out to Jamie and asked her to help me like be organized. And I just like didn't know what to do, and I wanted to figure it out fast. And so that was when we had the Make It Rain VIP, or I don't know, it was some group that was like a leadership group called Make It Rain. And in that, thank God, Chelsea Pearson went on there and talked about her life balance worksheet. And I'm going to read you what that was about. But basically, she went in and did a call for us, and it was all about balancing your life. And I was like, oh, this is exactly what I need. So she talked about intrinsic principles, and I have it written down. Intrinsic intrinsic priorities, which are basically like, if I were to ask you right now, like, what matters most to you in your life, all of those things would be your intrinsic priorities. And then, because those are the things that you put the most energy towards. And then it's that versus your key priorities. And those are the things that you probably don't enjoy putting that much time into. But if you did do that, then you would see more success in your life. And so let me go to that. So basically there's 10 key areas of happiness in your life. And the list of those, there's 10. Environment, fun and leisure, personal growth, spirituality, career and purpose, financial, friends and family, romantic relationship, fitness and health, and emotional health. And basically you rate like your level of satisfaction within each of those, and then you find out like what are you least satisfied with, and you shift a focus into those rather than the things that you have already like nailed down. And I'll put this, this is your action item for after the call, so I'll post this for you. But basically I found out that my environment was one of my key things that I was lacking. And this says, this is where you physically spend the majority of your day. This may include your home, your living space, the people you live with, your car, your room, your office, your closet, your work environment. And in Mitch and I's house, we would rather save money than like put a lot of effort into our house. And so like our bedroom has been half painted for 6 months. And it's just like not that big of a priority for us, but I'm super OCD and like I like things clean. And so I realized that it was really not helping me to not have like an area that was an office for me, because this business mattered so much, but I was just like scattered everywhere. So after that call, I got on, like literally right after it, I got into Target and found a cute desk and ordered it, and found like a bookshelf and ordered that. And so I kind of had, once I got that, I had like an office space figured out. Like I finally did a vision board and like started to organize myself a little bit. And yeah, so that kind of helped. And I'm still not organized, and I'm still like bad at time management, but we'll get to that later. So that helped out in July, just like establishing myself and like showing people that came to my house, like this is a real thing and it's happening. And so that was in July. And then in August, that was like the Lift 4 test group push. And that was just like very stressful. I got to my highest SC numbers ever. I was like over 20, but it was just, I hated that month. But what I loved about that month was Carly's retreat. And so at the end of that month, we had Carly's retreat, and I just realized like how important coaching was to me, and whether or not I was like going to be like the highest ranked coach or not. Like I always wanted it to be a part of my life. And yeah, and that's, Laura, you're jumping ahead. Okay. So that's just really where I found that like, this is what I want to continue to do. But then going like on September 1st, I remember this day like so clearly. I was sitting at work and I hated the whole month of August. Like I felt like I was pushing so hard to sell and be like have high SC numbers that I was completely forgetting like what I wanted out of the business. And I just was like super pushy, and I was trying literally everything you could, like giveaways, flash sales, free groups. I made flyers for like my parents to put up at their work. I made flyers in the NICU to get people to sign up. Like I literally was doing everything and pushing and like doing cold invites and like everything that I could possibly do, to the point where September 1st, I was exhausted and I decided to not work on coaching whatsoever that day. And it was just like, I just hated like how I was going about the business. But then I also
needed a washer.
Loved the business. I don't know what that sound is. So that was in August. So in September, I decided that I was going to focus on relationships and like within my team and within how I was like handling prospects. And in September, the end of August, I signed up 3 of my like top coaches. So Ashley, Laura, and then Hannah at the time were like the 3 who joined and wanted to be coaches. And let me calculate that out. So like April, May, June, July, August, September. It took like 5 to 6 months to get 3 girls that wanted to be Emerald. And so like it can take a while to build a diamond by yourself if you don't have family, and like that's normal. But once I had these 3 girls, I was like, okay, I need to focus on building relationships with my team, but then also like within prospects. So the first thing I wanted to focus on was my team. And so I created like a message pod for them that was like Push to Success Club, because I knew they wanted to do coaching. So I wanted to help them the best that I could get to Success Club. And so I created a message pod, and my whole goal in that was to be relatable to them. I wanted to share them like my struggles with hitting Success Club and just everything with the coaching in general. I wanted to make sure that I was accessible to them. I wanted to make sure that I presented myself as being equal and that they were my success partners, and just that like I just wanted to be a real person and a friend to them. We wouldn't only talk about coaching in that pod. It was literally just like building friendships in it and coaching on the side. And I created excitement in September by announcing like my Emerald retreat that we're doing in January. And so that was something that could get them excited to want to be Emerald faster. And so that's kind of how I focused on my team. And then within like selling, I stopped selling and started building relationships instead. And so I just thought about like, okay, how would I sign up with Beachbody if somebody approached me about it? And if somebody ever sent me like, hey, Victoria, thanks for the follow. How are you? Like, no, I would block you. If somebody even asked me like, hey, how are you? I would probably not block them, but like I wouldn't respond to them, because I don't, in my mind, I'd be like, I don't need like more friends. I don't need to talk to anybody. And that's like literally what I would think. And so I was like, hey, I can't just like cold invite or like be unrelatable to somebody. So I had to like focus on building relationships from the start. So I stopped sales pitching and I started conversations. Rather than closing the sale as my goal, I changed it to wanting to see if I was a good fit for them. I didn't challenge objections, and instead I uncovered like the truth behind it and trying to get to know more of like how their life was, like why wouldn't you have time, what do you have to do in your life, and tried to be more personal on that level. And to eliminate feeling rejected, I changed my mindset so that I gave up my hidden agenda of hoping for a sale and instead was just there to help. And that's really why we're here, right? It's to help people. And as a nurse, like that's what I do. And so basically in my mind, I was like, if I'm going to do this part-time as of now, like I'm not going to put sales pressure on myself. And like, obviously I have expectations of hitting Success Club or else I wouldn't hit it and that whole thing. But like, I'm not gonna like beat myself down about this business if it's my part-time thing. And so just summarizing September to November, I basically focused on creating relationships. And in that, like I got 2 more emeralds this last month, and they ended up being under Mitch, which is what put us into 1-star quals. And so that's kind of how I got to where I am now. But I want to be transparent. Like I'm struggling with Success Club this month. I'm at SC4 in mine and SC4 in Mitch's, because now that we're at the 1-star quals, it's like trying to manage like, okay, well, I need people going inactive and active. I'm like at that time where people are going in and out a lot. And so I'm having to manage like keeping people on certain legs of me on mine and then on Mitch's. And so I've really had to fall back on the vital behaviors and using powerless and really focusing on reach outs to get more people, obviously more conversations. And so basically just like it's important to focus on whatever season you're at and just constantly be reevaluating where you are and like what you need to focus on. So like right now, I obviously am struggling with Success Club. So I'm really focusing on not stressing out about it, but like using Powerless to help me. And I guess I can go into what Powerless are if you guys don't know. It's basically choosing 5 things that if you did those today, it would advance your business forward. And then once you get those done, anything that you do beyond that is basically extra. But it's super nice to have them as a part-time coach just because I can wake up, get those done. And then like last week, I was able to really focus on my family after that, knowing that I can show you actually. I do it, it looks like this. But I just write like reach outs because I wasn't good at reach outs. So I make sure that I do at least 10 a day. And then follow-ups at least 10. And then personal development, I stopped doing that as much because I was getting overwhelmed. And then I realized I need to, like, that's the most important thing. So that's gone on my list. But obviously you wouldn't put like 30 minutes workout, whatever, because we all do that and it's a habit and we don't need to have that on our list anymore. So you're literally doing things that like you are currently struggling with and to make sure that you get them done. And if do I have more time? Like 4 minutes? Okay. I was just going to say a couple things that I wish that I would have done differently. Basically, okay, I wish I would have started Google Streak from the start because it's really nice having everybody's email. And I never would do emails during challenge groups. I would just like reach out to people like on Messenger, but I wouldn't send them like something that was valuable into their email. And so having Google Streak and doing emails now is very helpful and people feel way more supportive and therefore are more likely to stay with you and get real results from you, which I know is what you and Steve were talking about, I think like last week or something, just about focusing on getting your clients results. And then I wish I would have gotten a desk sooner and made an office sooner. And then I wish I would have initiated Powerless to release some of the stress that I felt when I was very unorganized, which I still feel unorganized, but they have really helped me. And it's just very important to always be in control of your mindset at all times. And just focus on what you can do today. Make sure that you're doing your vital behaviors and always coming back to like phase 1 and just really the vitals and give yourself balance. And if you find yourself not enjoying this, like take a step back and figure out why aren't you enjoying it and what can you do to make it something that's enjoyable, because that's what it's supposed to be. So that's what I have.
So good. So good. I saw some questions. If you guys can repost your questions, just because they're going to be too far up there, drop them or any new questions and I can read them to Vic. I think it's just amazing to see a coach be proof that you can crush your business from the get-go if you so choose. And just like what you said, like when you started feeling overwhelmed and a little bit stressed, you like, instead of just stopping and putting your hands up, you're like, okay, what can I do to revamp this and figure out how it's going to work for me? Because that's the beauty of this being our business, is we need to do that, but we also need to be, I feel like we need to be open to realizing those cues, like realizing like right now this feels disingenuous, or, you know, like what you're talking about with the reach outs, like you barely said reach outs. You said, I just keep making conversations. Like I'm talking to people. And it's like, I feel like we talked about it last week, but I just feel like sometimes people get so far away from just having a genuine conversation and getting to know our people. It's like, that's why they want to sign up with us, because we've been talking about things outside of health and fitness, you know, aside from just those reach outs of, hey girl, join me, I've got 2 spots left. Like, again, I'm like you, I'd be like, I'm not responding. Like, no, thank you. Okay, I've got some questions. How did you go about working on relationships? Commenting on pictures, posts, how did you transition?
So I started looking up hashtags of things that I was like related to. So like a new wedding dress store opened up in Spokane, and Spokane's like not super big. So everybody that was following that place lives in Spokane. So I was able there was like, hey, I would mention something about their page, like something that I liked, or something nice, a compliment to them, but then I would end it with like, are you from Spokane, or like, are you from Washington as well? Something like that to make them know that like I live in the same place as them. And then after that, I started looking up, like I went to nursing school at WSU, so I started looking up WSU nursing and seeing the girls that would post that hashtag, and then I would message them and say something about their page. And then like, I saw that you went to WSU nursing, like where are you working now? I work in the NICU at Sacred Heart. Just so they knew that I wasn't some like random person. And it helps a lot with the nursing stuff because they could assume that I'm like, I don't know, if they were interested in the NICU, like I would be an in for them at the hospital, like that kind of thing. So that's, I don't comment, I don't do like the 5, I don't know, like 3 pictures and comment, like that doesn't work for me. I don't like doing that.
So a couple of people had asked if you could post the life balance worksheet in the team page. All right. And then another question, how much info do you put into Google Streak? Sometimes I feel I'm putting too much detail into it and not enough email conversations.
I still don't really understand how to work Google Streak that well. All I have is like my group. So like in October we did Gourds and Gains is what our group name was, and I literally just put their name and their email address in it, and that was all. Yeah, that's all I did.
Perfect.
Carly would be a better person to ask about Google Streak.
Kate asked, any suggestions on a really new coach looking to hit Emerald?
Find family to be your weak leg and more family to be on your strong leg so that you can control it. Because once you get to diamond, it's just nice to have 2 sides that you can control with that. But don't overthink it. Just like ask people, because there are people that you're forgetting about right now that you could be asking.
Favorite PD?
The first one that I read was the 5-second rule, and I like really like that. And then the MF CEO for podcasts.
How do you make the transition from the conversation with a person to talking about either joining a group or coaching? Example, I am connecting with someone over buying our first house recently, but don't know how to add in Beachbody.
I would try to not jump the gun on talking about it. Like I would just keep asking them about their life, and eventually they'll either start to notice your social media, like start to go to your page and realize that you do that, or like they'll end up, I would just wait for something like fitness to come up into your conversation, or you can say like, how was your day? And then if they ask you it back, be like, oh, I just got done working out and now I'm doing this coaching thing, and like bring it in that way so that they ask you about it, because then it will be like it was their idea and not yours.
Love it. How did you switch the conversations from DMs to email?
Once they said that they were interested about it, I would say like, here's a link to join to request access to our group, and can you also give me your email? Or you could send them to like, go fill out the link in my bio. But I found that when you do that, I tend to lose a lot of people. So I try
So we have a little bit longer comment question here. I have recently moved from cold coaching and challenge group invites / inviting so early in a conversation to building a relationship first. But because of that, I'm having a hard time of knowing when or if I should invite them to my challenge groups. What advice would you give to someone who wants to be able to hit Success Club consistently, but doing so without being salesy and putting effort into building the relationships?
starting more new conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's like, that's obviously what I'm struggling with right now. I have so many conversations, but I don't want to lose those people by just asking them to join me, because I don't want them to just assume that I'm talking to them because of that. So I would
Yes.
just like talk to more people.
I totally agree. I think it just means you need to have more people in the pipeline and more conversations. Like I have some people who literally have just joined me after 5 years. Like 5 years, guys. It takes a lot of consistency, and know that no matter what, like whether you're on the Success Club leaderboard that I just mentioned earlier or not, like all of those coaches are developing real relationships with all those people. They are just doing that with like higher levels and higher goals for themselves. It doesn't mean they're not developing those genuine relationships. I think a lot of people think that. So it's like, as long as you like say you don't want to be salesy, none of us do. So just don't be salesy. You know what I mean? Like just get to know the people. Like Vic is saying, like you talk to them about things that pertain to your life that you connect with them on. And it's like, just keep it simple like that, because eventually, you know, we not necessarily people are going to join you that week that you first message them. Like it could be years after that. All right, guys, we have room for a couple more questions if there's any more. Drop them in
And
the...
I would say that if you like if you did ask them to join and they said no, like keep talking to them. Don't be like, okay, bye.
Yeah,
They'll probably end up joining you later.
definitely. Yeah, and when they tell you no, then you keep the conversation going. Like you don't just wait to follow up with them. So, did you still want to join my group a month later? Like talk to them in between, like you would a friend, you know? All right, so I'm not seeing any more questions. I think I got everyone's questions. But this call was so good. Thank you so much. And guys, I'm going to get the recording up tomorrow morning, and then it'll be on YouTube. So if your coaches were slackers and they were on, make sure you tag them and get them to watch this video. But thank you guys so much for being on, and I hope you guys all have a great rest of your Monday nights. Bye, guys.